let's do a book haul. So, for our first book haul, I have 9 books.
I don't even know how many I have. I have 7.
Some of them I might talk like about together, but so my first 2 are going to be Butcher's Crossing and Augustus by John Williams. In our first video, I had mentioned that Stoner was one of my favorite books, well, in my top 3 out of like the 17 that I've read since September. So I really like John Williams' writing, and I hear that Butcher's Crossing and Augustus are also actually really good. This one is supposed to be like a Western a little bit. I don't really know too much about it. I just know it's something that I wanted to read. And then this takes place in the Roman Empire during the fall of Julius Caesar up to Augustus. So I think I got that right. But yeah, these are my first 2.
Interesting.
I'm excited.
Interesting. All right. For my first, I got a whole series.
Well, not a whole series.
Well, the 4th one hasn't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
But I've got 3 out of the 4 books. Done and Dusted by Layla Sage. You said Western, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got Cowboys too.
Cowboy Love.
Cowboy Love. Swift and Saddled. Lost and Lassoed. I mean, look at the art on these. These are so good.
Yeah, the artwork
these
on
are
those covers
so
are beautiful.
sick.
Yeah, those are awesome.
This one's my favorite. The Lost and Lassoed. I think I just love the green.
I like the first one.
The Done and Dusted?
Yeah.
Really?
I like the blue.
You like the blue one?
I'm not too fond of like.
And I just like look at that. I just love it.
I'm not too fond of like for romance books like characters on there like kissing and stuff. It's just not my thing.
No, it's awkward, but like this is animated, so it's okay.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like the artwork on
Yeah,
that.
I like these a lot. So I'm excited to read these ones. It'll probably be a while, but we'll get to it eventually.
So the next one for my book haul is Janny Wirtz's War Host of Vastmark. This is book 3 in her The Wars of Light and Shadow series. I think there's 10 or 11 books. I bought book 3, and I have another book 2, which will be mentioned in another video. But this is volume 3. I wanted to make sure I had a copy. I'm doing like a read along with some people on a channel. They're all doing the whole series. So thought I'd get ahead and get volume 3. So yeah, I'm excited about this. This is like a traditional old school 80s 90s fantasy series. The prose is a little, I don't want to say complex, but it's a little wordy. But I'm enjoying the first book so far. So yeah. Next one I got 1984 by George Orwell. I never read this in school, and I was actually somewhere and someone recommended it to me. We were just talking about it, and I had forgotten, so I thought it was time to pick up another classic and get into this. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Out on a limb. Like legit. Did you see the cover?
Oh, he doesn't have his leg.
He's got a prosthetic, yeah.
Let me guess.
I think I seen this on TikTok, on Book Talk. Somebody recommended it. And then my sister-in-law started reading it, and she was like, it's pretty good. So I was like, okay, I'm getting it. I was at Barnes & Noble, and I'm like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to get it. So
let me guess.
We'll
It's a
see.
romance.
Uh-huh.
So,
it's a romance.
So 4 out of your 7 are romance.
Yes. I read romance and thrillers.
I think you like romance.
Romance and thriller, honey. Romance and thriller.
Next book for me is Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. And you already know how much I like The Nightingale, so I needed to get into another Kristen Hanna book, and this one takes place in the 1920s, I think, during the Great Depression. I'll leave it at that because I don't know too much. I just saw that it took place in the 1900s, and it's Kristen Hanna, so I was like, oh, I gotta get it.
Gotta do it.
I gotta do it.
We gotta do it.
I'm not even sure if this is romance. It might be. But yeah. Next one is Crime and Punishment by, I want to get the Fyodor Dostoevsky. I'm sorry.
Don't ask me to say that.
Pronunciation isn't very good, but I know this is another classic of like Russian literature. And from my knowledge, it's the like a mystery murder story that takes place, or that's the POV of like the person committing the crime. So, and I've heard great things about it. I just like classic literature, so thought I'd pick this one up.
You and your classic literature.
Yeah, I know.
Rock, paper, scissors. I honestly, I wouldn't have picked this up if I wasn't with my sister-in-laws, my sisters at Barnes and Noble. My younger sister, she's a teen, and she read it and she was like, "It's really good." She's like, "You wouldn't think it's good based on the back, but it was really good." So I was like, "All right, I'll get it. Why not? I'll give it a shot." So, I don't know. Is this a thriller? I just grabbed it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you're like me. I just like grabbing
I
books
just
off the
grabbed it.
shelf
I
and
was like,
reading.
okay.
Obviously, like BookTube and Book Talk have influence in some of our buys and stuff, but for me, most of the time, I just randomly grab things off
Queen
the
of
shelf.
Twist. So yeah, this must be like a suspense thriller. Uh, so yeah, I'll let you know how it is.
Sounds good. My next one is, if you couldn't see the cover already, it is Mystic River by Dennis Lehane. And this is my first Dennis Lehane book. He is a mystery author as well. And I remember watching the movie probably like, had to be like 15 years ago. I can't remember. But it was really good. So, but I've heard great things about Dennis Lehane. Everyone seems to talk about him when mystery thrillers come up. So, this was the biggest book that I saw of his, and I like chunkers.
You'll have to
So,
let me know how it is so I can read
yeah,
it maybe too.
yeah.
Because I like thrillers.
So I'm really looking forward to getting into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to move it up my TBR. I'm not sure.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Ooh.
TBR.
Ooh. All right. This was actually on a shelf at Barnes and Noble for like their book of the month, for February.
Tell me what you did.
Tell me what you did.
What'd you do?
Yeah, so it's a thriller.
You know anything about it?
No,
No, you just.
not a dang thing.
It's new. Oh.
It's really, yeah, I think it was like a new release. I'm pretty sure.
Who's the author?
Carter
Wilson.
Carter Wilson.
I do see it on Goodreads a lot mentioned for like most anticipated thrillers or something.
She gets people to confess their crimes for a living. Who he knows she's hiding a terrible secret. It's time for the truth to come out.
Tell me what you did. My next pick was Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. I like memoirs.
And we like Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry was my favorite character in Friends. And he just recently passed away. I don't know, a year or two ago, maybe sooner. I can't remember, but yeah, love memoirs. The last one I read was Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights, so thought I'd pick up another memoir, get a break from the world building and the massive series of fantasy books that I read. So this will be a nice little palate cleanser for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to learn more about one of my favorite characters and friends, and he seemed like a really good person, so looking forward to reading it.
The Wrong Heart by Jennifer Hartman.
I really like the cover.
I love the cover of this. It's so pretty, isn't it? And it's got like that
smooth,
like, yeah,
it's really
and
nice.
The pages, like, yeah, it's just one of those books. This is by Bloom Books.
Bloom Books publisher.
Yeah, it's just a romance. Just a romance book.
We are two broken souls fractured in opposite ways. She loved and lost, and I was lost before I could ever love at all.
I mean, let's be real, all romances are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But I still am going to read them.
Just the spice level is different in each one, right? My last one, and this will probably be the first Stephen King book I read.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know you got that.
11/22/63.
That is so big.
Look at this monster. I can't wait. So everyone knows like the premise of the story. Guy goes back in time. He goes through like a portal in a restaurant and has to try to stop the assassination of JFK. This is like a book talk darling, and it's been a loved book probably since it came out. So I thought this would be a great starting point for me in the Stephen King universe. Don't know when I'm going to get to it because I have a lot of big books that I'm reading right now. So
Like every book that you read is like at least 600 pages.
yeah, I have a problem. It's just something
He
so
just he
satisfying.
seeks out fat chunker books.
Well, I'm spending money on them. I want to at least have like sometimes I can't justify spending $20 on a book that's 100 pages. This one was
I'd like to see a book with 100 pages.
this one was 23. I think it's worth it because it'll take me a little while. But yeah, thanks for joining our first haul.
Yeah.
Hopefully we did it justice.
It's-
I didn't really explain a lot about the books because I don't really read the back of them unless I don't know anything about
and I
them.
just skim. I skim the back. I honestly I read like the last paragraph. I don't even read like the first couple paragraphs because it's not really like it just doesn't give. So I just read the last paragraph honestly, and I'm like, okay, that sounds like it's gonna be a good ending. You know?
Yeah, and most of mine is like, oh, I've heard this author's really good, so I'm just gonna grab a book and
Yeah.
see where it goes.
Yep.
And then I don't want to give too much information, even though it's like blurb stuff. So
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yep. And stay tuned for our March TBR.
See you.